She's been in labor since the sun was high. Now the sky is going orange, and her body is still fighting. The baby is almost here. You can see the crown of its head. But something is wrong. The head is turning, not toward her, away from her. She reaches down to guide her own child into the world, and she can't. The angle is impossible. Her own hands cannot finish what her body started. And then, another pair of hands, a second woman, kneeling in front of her, hands that know exactly what to do. That moment, those hands, may be the first act of medicine in the history of our species. To understand it, you have to go back almost 4 million years, long before hospitals, long before medicine, to a problem that is written into your own body right now. Here's the thing nobody tells you about being human. You were born too early, on purpose. Every other great ape comes into the world more finished than you did, able to cling, to hold on, to move. A human baby can do almost nothing. Can't walk, can't crawl, can't even hold up its own head. If you had stayed in the womb long enough to be as developed as a newborn chimp, your mother would have been pregnant for around 18 to 21 months. She wasn't, because if she had waited that long, you would never have fit out. That's not a flaw. That's the single most important compromise in the human story, and it nearly killed every mother who ever lived. To see what went wrong, look at 2 things that make you human. You walk upright, and you have an enormous brain. Both of those are gifts. Together they are a trap. Walking on 2 legs needs a narrow pelvis. Narrow hips are efficient hips. They keep your weight stacked over your feet so you don't waste energy swaying side to side. So evolution squeezed the female pelvis inward, but at the same time the human brain was growing. By the time you arrive, your head is huge, nearly 3 times the size of a chimpanzee's at birth. So now there's a problem, a bigger and bigger head, trying to pass through a narrower and narrower opening. In 1960, an anthropologist named Sherwood Washburn gave this collision a name, the obstetrical dilemma. The female body pulled in 2 directions at once, built to walk and built to give birth, and unable to fully do both. But the size of the baby's head was never the most dangerous part. The most dangerous part is the shape of the road it has to travel. Your birth canal is not a straight tube. It is twisted. The way in is widest from side to side. The way out is widest from front to back. 2 openings turned 90 degrees from each other, so the baby cannot simply drop through. It enters sideways, then halfway down it is forced to turn, a quarter rotation in the dark, mid-journey, and it comes out facing backward, facing away from its mother. Then it turns again just to free its shoulders. Now you understand the woman at dusk. In a monkey or an ape, the baby is born facing the mother. She can reach down, lift it to her chest, wipe its face so it can breathe. A human mother cannot. Her baby faces the wrong way. If she pulls, she risks snapping its neck against the curve of its own spine. For the first time in the history of life on Earth, a mother could not safely deliver her own child. She needed someone else. Here's where almost everyone gets the story wrong. You've probably heard it said that childbirth got dangerous because human brains got big, that our heads outgrew our hips. That's wrong. We know it's wrong because of her. In 1974, in the Afar region of Ethiopia, researchers uncovered a skeleton of an early human ancestor. We call her Lucy. She lived around 3.2 million years ago. She walked upright, and her brain was barely larger than a chimp's. When scientists modeled how Lucy gave birth, they found something striking. Her babies didn't drop straight out the way an ape's do. They had to rotate, a partial, twisting, oblique passage through her hips. Lucy's babies had small heads, and birth was still hard. So it was never really about the brain. It was about the hips. The moment our ancestors stood up and started to walk, they set this in motion. Millions of years before the first big-brained human was ever born. The growing brain didn't create the problem. It just turned a hard problem into a deadly one. Now, scientists still argue about exactly why. Some think it's less about the width of the hips and more about the limits of a mother's energy. how long her body can keep feeding a baby inside her. But on this, they agree. The difficulty was already there long before our brains were. So picture it. A woman 300,000 years ago, somewhere in Africa, full-sized human brain, the most twisted, narrowest birth she could possibly face. No hospital, no surgeon, no drug of any kind. What did she have instead? She had another woman. Anthropologists Karen Rosenberg and Wenda Trevethan gave this a name too: obligate midwifery. In nearly every human culture ever studied, women do not give birth alone. Someone attends, someone helps. It is so universal, so deep, that it behaves almost like instinct. Think about what that means. Before there were tools for this, before there were medicines for this, before there was writing to record any of it, humans had already invented the one thing that could keep a mother alive: each other. The first delivery room was the open savanna. The first midwife was a woman who had survived her own births, kneeling in front of another, passing down everything she knew with her hands. Knowledge handed from mother to daughter to granddaughter in an unbroken chain for thousands of generations. And make no mistake about the stakes. Among hunter-gatherer communities studied in modern times, the risk was brutal. By some estimates, over 1,000 mothers lost for every 100,000 births. Today, in a modern hospital, that number is in the single digits. Back then, every birth was a door that swung both ways. The helper kneeling in front of you was, very often, the only thing standing between a new life and two deaths. Now we come to the strangest twist of all. That helpless, half-finished baby, the one that could have killed its mother on the way out, didn't just survive. It built the world you live in. Think about the problem from the mother's side. She has a newborn that can do nothing for itself for years. It can't walk, can't feed itself, can't run from danger, and she still has to find food, still has to survive. No single mother on the ancient African savanna could do all of that alone. The answer is everyone else. The anthropologist Sarah Blaffer-Hrdy calls it cooperative breeding. Grandmothers, older sisters, aunts, kin who weren't the mother at all, sharing the work of keeping a child alive. Scientists even think this is part of why human women live so long past the age of having children, because a grandmother who helped her grandchildren survive was worth keeping around. And here is the idea that should stop you. To share a baby, to hand your most precious, most vulnerable thing to someone else and trust them, you need patience. You need cooperation. You need to read what another person is feeling. Some scientists believe that this, passing helpless babies between trusting hands, generation after generation, is part of where human empathy itself came from, where cooperation came from, maybe even part of where language came from. So the next time you hear someone say it takes a village to raise a child, understand that it is not a slogan. It is the oldest survival strategy our species has. It is hundreds of thousands of years old, and you are alive because it worked. So how did the first humans handle childbirth before any medicine existed? The honest answer is that they often didn't. Many mothers died. Many babies died. There was no surgery to save them, no drug to ease them. When a birth went wrong, it simply went wrong. But that is only half the truth, because long before our ancestors had medicine, they had something that made medicine possible in the first place. They had the instinct to kneel in front of someone in pain and help. They had knowledge, carried in living memory and handed down by hand. They had a village that took the weight no single person could carry. The standard story says human birth is a design flaw, a body at war with itself. But look again. Out of that danger came the midwife. Out of that helplessness came the family. Out of the most dangerous moment in human life came the cooperation that built everything after it. The first medicine was never a tool. It was each other. So think about how you arrived. You came into this world too early to survive on your own. You turned, in the dark, 90 degrees, and came out facing backward, exactly the way your ancestors did 300,000 years ago. And the very first thing that ever happened to you was that a pair of hands reached out and caught you. Not one human being who has ever lived did that part alone. Not one. You are the end of a chain of mothers that, across millions of years, never once broke, and every link in it had help. But survival is only the beginning of the story, because once these first humans could keep their children alive, they faced a new problem: what to feed them in a world before farms, before fire could even cook a meal. That's the story for next time. Which part of this surprised you the most? That the baby comes out facing backward? Or that being born helpless might be the reason we learn to care for each other at all? Let me know in the comments. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.